Welcome all to Financial Fitness Program. My name is Samir Bapat, and today we are going to learn about why stock markets are needed, or rather, what is stock market and why stock market are needed. Almost overlapping subjects. So we are going to understand why stock markets are needed and what is market capitalization and what is sectoral analysis of stock market. These 2 points we are going to, all 3 points we are going to learn only for one objective. And what is that objective? Can someone type what is our objective of learning these three things? Come on, guys. Earn money. Yes, earn money. That is the only and only objective. We don't have any other objective of joining and spending 1 hour together. Nothing else. Money, money, money. That's it. So all we want is to learn and understand. So why we are learning this is we are not learning for knowledge. We are not learning for anything else. We are learning everything only for the sake of earning money. And when we are learning for the sake of earning money, we need to understand how we will be able to optimally learn. So why we are learning all these topics? Maybe this is not directly related to earning money, but this will help us in judging when to invest, in what instrument to invest, and at what time to invest and what time to exit. Those all things will be helpful to us to use all this information for earning money. So this is again one more foundation building webinar. As you can see, we have been building our strong foundation over last 1 month. Since we started almost 1 month or so, we have been building lots of foundation, and then we'll have lots of techniques to earn from it. So before we begin, I would like to thank you all for your time. I know you have busy lives. You could be doing a lot of other things, and today the exit polls are coming. Many people might have left TV and are attending the webinar today. I'll make sure it is well worth your time. So let's go ahead with the agenda for today. Now, why stock markets are needed? So many times when I discuss with people, how many of you have heard that people say that stock markets are not productive? See, people measure it. Let's say if there is a factory, right? So people go there, they produce. Let's say there is a shoe factory, so people will go there, they'll produce shoes. Some product will come out. Some people will get employment, and there will be some commerce activity. There will be some production. People will get employment, and it will add to the progress of the nation. How many of you think stock markets, or have you heard people who say stock markets are not productive? You just go buy, sell share. There is no production. Nothing is happening. There is no actual real contribution in the GDP. Yes, like Prabhat mentioned, doesn't contribute to GDP. That is the first and foremost notion about stock market. It does not, it hardly contributes in GDP. It's a, like, it does not even there is no role of stock market in the growth of country. Can I have yes from all of you? It if you are agreeing, or if you have heard with this, even if you don't agree, if you have heard people saying that, please type yes. Okay. So I'm saying these words. I'll tell you why. I have four more questions. I'll tell you why I'm asking these questions, right? So this seems like unproductive, right? Even the stock market, we go buy share. What is there? Someone earns, someone loses. What is this? There is no production, right? Then again, the why stock markets contribute to growth of the country. Now, okay. Now I let me ask you one thing. How many of you? How many of you? How many of you have their own either apartment or home? Can I have yes from all of you? Okay, great, fantastic. A lot of people are having. How many of you are planning to buy their own home or apartment going forward? Can I have yes from all of you? if your parents are having, if you're a student and your parents are having apartment, you can type yes. If they are having their own apartment, or they are planning to have their own apartment, or if your parents are going to buy a apartment or home in near future, type yes. Okay, now let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. Today, let's say in the area where I stay, the apartment will cost around 1.4 crore rupees. Okay, around, let's say for round figure, let's call it 1.5 crore rupees. Roughly, the apartment, one apartment will cost roughly around 1.5 crore rupees. 3 BHK. Okay, 3 BHK approximately 1.5 crore rupees it will cost. If I say the interest of, if I put that in the bank, let's say if I put all 1.5 crore in the bank, I will get 4% return, which is around 6 lakh rupees, right? Yeah, I am, Santosh is asking Bangalore. Yes, I am saying Bangalore. Bangalore, I am already in outskirt, but still it will be available for 1.5 crores. I know people from Bombay will say it's very cheap, but for Bangalore it's pretty costly. So 1.5 crore, if I keep in the bank, I'll get 6 lakh rupees as a interest. Okay. Now the rents which is going on, the current rent which is going on around here, it is around 35 to 40,000 per month. So let's say 12 fours are 48. So around 5 lakh rupees is the annual rent. Now think, the flat is costing 1.5 crores. If I keep that 1.5 crores in the bank, it will give me approximately 6 lakh rupees. But if I have to pay rent, I have to pay rent to stay in the same apartment is 5 lakh rupees. Okay, so 5 lakh rupees I have to pay as a rent. But if I keep 1.5 crore, so if I am having a flat, I will earn 5 lakhs if I am giving it on rent. But if I keep the same money in the bank, I'll get 6 lakh rupees. So this is the situation. Everyone okay? Everyone is okay with the situation? If I put 1.5 lakh rupees in the bank, I will get 6 lakhs. Since I am giving that apartment for rent, I am getting 5 lakh per year. Now, let's say you, every one of you is having 1.5 crores as of now in your pocket. Everyone is having 1.5 crores in your pocket, and you are coming to Bangalore where I am staying, and you are looking for the apartment. And when you are finalizing the apartment, I will say, well, you will be able to buy this apartment for 1.5 crore, this costing for 1.5 crore. But remember one thing, once you buy this apartment, you will never be able to sell it to anyone. You can only give it to the next generation, but you can never sell this apartment ever after. Either you stay here or you give it to rent, but you will not be able to sell it ever after. How many of you will think 10 times before investing 1.5 crores for buying a flat now? Type yes. Those who are going to think 10 times, 20 times, whether should I really buy? See, I have to, do I need to really block this money if I am not able to sell it again? You'll be able to, how many of you will think many times, will really think hard, do I need to spend 1.5 crores to invest into that, right? Correct? Now what has happened here is, now let's say if you go to the builders, okay, when the builder is constructing the building, nice beautiful building, the project is upcoming, right? And you go to the builder and he says to you, okay sir, this will cost around 2 crores of property, nice beautiful property, blah 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 blah. But once you buy this property for 2 crore, you will not be able to sell it ever in your life to anyone else. Will you buy from that builder? Will you buy from that builder? No. Since you are not buying from that builder, and majority in this webinar are saying we will not buy even if I have 1.5 crore, will the builder actually build the apartments? Will he construct apartments when no one is coming to buy it? How many of you think the construction builders will construct the apartments but no one is willing to buy. They will not construct the apartment, right? So the construction will go down. People are not buying. Okay, people is not. So what is happening is, now here understand one thing. Why this is happening? Why this is happening, right? Because if I say the builder is the primary market, the builder is constructing the apartments, the buildings and all, that is called primary market, where the seller goes and buys for the first time. It is a primary market. But if you tell the seller that there will be no secondary market, there will be no secondary sale, even the buyer is not willing and going to buy in the primary market from the builder. Do you agree? Because there was no secondary market, there is no primary market. People, if since people know they cannot sell it ever after, they will not even go and buy the first time. How many of you agree? Many will think why to buy, right? So because there is no secondary sale, there is no primary sale also, right? Since there is no primary sale, then there is no construction. Agreed? Since there is no primary purchase, there is no construction. There is no construction. There is no purchase of cement. There is no purchase of steel. There is no purchase requirement of steel, cement, and all. There is no labor. There is no workers. There is no engineers. There is no mixing plants. Nothing. So when there is no primary secondary market, since nobody is ready to buy in the secondary sales, or you are not able to sell it in the secondary market, you are not buying in the primary market. Since primary market is not there, that's why the construction company is not there. Construction company is not there, that's why there is no employment for the people. Since there is no employment, there is no requirement for cement factory, steel factory, nothing. So understand one thing. What I am trying to say is, as soon as I open up a secondary market, right now there is no secondary market. Wait is saying market down. No, I am saying there is no secondary market. You cannot sell it. There is no secondary market. But as soon as I say, boss, you will be able to sell in secondary market. Today you buy for 1 crore from the builder. Tomorrow when it price escalates, you will be able to sell it for 1.25 crore. Now how many of you are interested? If I tell you today you buy for 1 crore, 1.5 crore, you buy from the builder, tomorrow you will be able to sell it for 2 crores. How many of you are interested? See, suddenly we have buyers in the market, right? So now what happens is the buyer is there, construction is there, people getting employment, there is a revenue generation there is a production, nice apartments, correct? So if there was no growth, there was no construction, would the country GDP grow? If there was no builders, no one is constructing, nothing is happening, no activity, people are not getting employment, steel, cement are not being sold, will there be a growth in the country? But since there was a secondary market, because of secondary market, there was a primary market. Primary market resulted into commerce. That commerce resulted into country's growth. How many of you can correlate? Just because you could sell it second time, there was a growth in the country, right? How many of you are able to correlate this? Can I have yes from all of you? Same way, primary and secondary market, right? Primary and secondary market in stock market is when I make a company, when I build a company like Zomato, right? How many of you have heard about Zomato? Maybe metro cities people might have heard about Zomato. When Zomato was created, the founder members of Zomato, they had an idea in mind, right? Nobody thought about it earlier, maybe thought, maybe not on the organization, they had an idea in their mind. They hired lots of people. They brought up app, they are aggregator, food aggregators, they made it big, and today they are coming up with 1 billion IPO in the secondary market, right? The primary market was they brought in the partners and the venture capitalist, everyone came, they formed the company, made it huge. Now they are coming into secondary market, stock market, IPO, where they'll be selling it, right? They'll be generating more money. Let's say if tomorrow all the investors in Zomato were told, boss, you are investing in Zomato, but you will not be able to sell it in secondary market. Whatever you have to invest, invest, whatever profit will come, but you will not be able to gain anything from the appreciation of your share value. Whatever you pay, all you will get is the profit from the company. You will not be able to sell in the. How many of you think the venture capitalists, the investors, the initial investors in Zomato would have invested in Zomato? How many of you think that real investors would have gone and invested? Today they invested because they knew today we will create a value in the company. Tomorrow we will be able to sell it in the secondary market, in the stock exchange, bringing the IPO. It will appreciate, my company will appreciate, my share value will appreciate. So they invested in the company, right? That's why now you are getting the point. Because there was a secondary market, because there was a possibility of selling it again, there was a primary market, there were investors. Because there were investors, the industry is formed. Because the industry is formed, there were employment, there was a commercial activity, there was a revenue generation, there was a tax, there was a GDP growth. If there is no secondary market, then I don't know how many old people are there. What was the growth rate of economy when the National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange was not there in pre-70s? It was slow. If you remember, if you are young, go and see Manoj Kumar movies, right? You'll see unemployment and unemployment and unemployment everywhere. And those movies were on unemployment only, right? Now you see after there was exchange, there was an increase and everything, there is a growth rate, there is a lot of opportunities, not only created by the business people, not only by families. Today you and me as an entrepreneur, we can think of building a business because we know today we built a good business value proposition. Tomorrow there is a stock market which will valuate me and give me good price, right? So today I am taking risk of being entrepreneur because I'll make a Zomato, I'll make a Ola cab, I'll make a Uber cab, I'll make Flipkart, I'll make whatnot, and tomorrow I'll go and list it, I'll get good money. So just by assurance that there is some secondary market there out there where I can sell at a fair value, am I not am I not contributing to the growth of the country? How many of you agree now? Because there is a stock market and stock markets are the secondary markets. Now how many of you agree because of stock market it is productive because people look towards it where they can sell their businesses at a good valuation, and that's why they work hard and generate economy, and now the stock market is very very important for GDP growth. Now why I went through all the stories, I'll tell you. There is no reason. I am not here for a philosophical purpose, okay? Believe me, I did not tell you all the story for some nationalism or something, nothing. There is a big reason in our mind why we don't earn in stock market. Why not we? Why majority of people don't earn in stock market? Because they have this bottleneck. They don't understand that by investing, by trading into stock markets, they are actually helping in the growth of the country, and this is how they are actually participating in the growth of the country. When you have a feel good feeling about a business, then you are able to earn money. Believe me, we are good people from heart. We cannot earn by doing something wrong, but unless until we understand that what we are doing is right, we will not go and earn money. So that is one bottleneck. That's why I clarified. There is a lot of bottleneck in people's mind. Okay, it's not a productive thing. Why should I invest in that? No, it's a productive thing. You are contributing in the growth of the country. Believe me. How many of you agree? From now on that bottleneck is removed. Can I have yes if that bottleneck is removed? Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So, stock markets in India, we have two stock markets. We have one Bombay Stock Exchange and second is the National Stock Exchange. National Stock Exchange, NSC, became 25 years old just this month. It was formed in 1996. Bombay Stock Exchange, I think in 1970s. I don't have exact year, but it's almost like 30 years elder than the National Stock Exchange. Before, when I was in college, 1991 92, there used to be a stock exchanges in all the cities. Like I did my engineering from Indore, we had an Indore stock exchange, we had Bhopal stock exchange, Calcutta stock exchange. Then it was clubbed. Now in India there are only two stock exchanges because of the improvement in technology. Yeah, Madras stock exchange was also there. So all cities were having their own stock exchange. Now everything is merged. Now only two stock exchanges: Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. These are the secondary markets. So stock market is a place where company gets listed for not only for second sale, also for generating money for business expansion by bringing in IPO, bringing in debentures. We studied in the last webinar what is debentures. So they bring in debentures, they raise money, money market. So this is secondary market is the primary, the main objective of secondary market is to provide money to the business. Nowadays there is one very hep word like crowdfunding. Okay, crowdfunding is happening for last 150 years in stock markets. Companies come, they raise fund from the public in the way of IPO and debentures, money markets. This is happening for last 150 years. This is nothing new. Only the word new, it's a jargon which has come up. Something called crowdfunding. There is a crowdfunding happening. Okay, and all crowdfunding has been happening for so many years now. It's only that now you may go and you may be able to invest in the upcoming companies which are not listed. Maybe that is possible, but I don't know how much regulated that is. Then participation by common investor and where companies can get their fair value. So that is one thing which you should remove, whether it is fair or not. Then we have SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, which issues guidelines to stock exchanges and the participants and to brokers and to companies for smooth functioning of them. So they give regulation how the when the company should declare, what they should declare, what are the guidelines for declaration, how they should present their reports, annual reports and all, what are the minimum requirement. If they don't follow, what can strict actions can be taken against them. All guidelines are being given by SEBI to ensure no frauds are happening. Still, is it a guarantee that frauds will not happen? No, it is not a guarantee that frauds will not happen. Someone will come with some idea. But as far as possible, SEBI is working hard day and night for ensuring that there are no frauds, right? SEBI is doing really hard work and really good work. I can, with my experience of last 20 years in stock market, say that SEBI has been doing a fantastic work. We are in a very good hands. This is a very protected environment that we are today while participating in stock market. So don't have that apprehension whether it is okay or not, some fraud will happen. Don't worry, nothing will happen. Second, there is a myth number one why people are not able to earn into stock market. How many of you think that if I earn money in stock market, then if I am gaining a money, it's a someone else's loss? How many of you think like this? Type yes. Okay, one yes, no, yes. Okay, it's yes, it's fine. I have heard a lot of people saying if it, they feel that if I gain money, that means someone else is losing money, right? So that is a second bottleneck while earning into stock market. People are not able to earn because we are good people from heart, right? We don't want to earn in unethical way. Majority of us are good people, good-hearted people. We don't want to earn unethically, so it stops us from earning, right? So we think, okay, my gain is someone else's losses, right? Okay, now let me ask another question. Okay, how many of you are doing job? How many of you are doing job? Type yes. How many of you got job by passing the interview? Type yes. Okay, and those who are in college, students, how many of you got admission into college by clearing the exams? Type yes. Right, those who are homemakers maybe not working right now, but they must have studied in the college. So how many of those homemakers they would have gone into college by passing some entrance exam or having good scores and all? Type yes. Those who are in business and all type, yes. Okay, for the people who are in job, right? Those who are in job, I would like to ask you one thing. This question is specific for the people of job. When you gave interview for your job interview, okay, when you gave a interview for job, there must be a lot of people sitting out there. There must be 10, 12, 15, 20 people sitting out there. You went for the job interview. So when they selected you, right? When they selected you, they said, okay, if Samir Bapat is going for a job interview, then they selected me. They selected Samir Bapat, and HR said, congratulations, Mr. Samir, you are selected for this job. How many of you told, no, 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 if I get this job, if I gain this job, outside there are 20 people, so if it is my gain, it is their loss, so I will not take this job? How many of you refused to take this job? You only took job where you alone were participating in the interview, no one else was there, you went there alone, and you said, okay, no one is there, so it is my gain, my gain. Okay, if I'm getting selected, it is my gain. How many of you went like that? How many of you thought that since I'm getting this job, it is my gain and other person's loss? Or did you say, okay, congratulations and thank you, and came back and distributed sweets? Why you got that job is, or people who got admission in college, right? Right? When you got college admission, did you say, no, 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 though I scored 95%, but see, if I take the admission, the person who scored for 65% will not get the admission. Please give him the admission, because if I get the admission, it is my gain, his loss. Okay, so I don't want to make his loss. How many students are here, or how many homemakers are there who went to study in college, gave away their seats because they were scoring higher than the other person who lost his seat? Okay, Ved is saying he left the seat. Very fantastic, very good. Others did not, right? Okay, he's saying no. Ved is saying no. Okay. How many of you, when they get A grade during the appraisal time, or if they are businessman and the customer comes to you in your business, you say, no, 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 no. If you come to me, it is my gain, but my neighbor is also having in the same business. It is his loss. You go, please go to him, right? And please buy from him, because if you buy from me, it will be my gain, his loss. You are gaining in business, in work, in college, not because it is someone else's loss, because you worked hard. You were there at the right place, right time, doing the right things, right? You prepared for that, you slogged for it, you deserved that. That's why when you are in stock market, you are attending this webinar, there are thousands of people out there, right? You are here today, you are taking action, you are making efforts, you are attending this webinar, you are attending another webinars, you are gaining knowledge, you are going into stock market. When you are preparing so much, when you gain in stock market, do you think it is actually your gain and someone else's loss, or your gain because you worked hard, you slogged hard, you were better prepared, you placed your bet right? Now do you think your gain is someone else's loss, or your gain is your gain, right? Your gain is your own hard work. Don't even have this bottleneck that my gain is someone else's loss. No, your hard work, your gain. I have nothing to do with someone else. Agreed? How many of you agree with this point now? Yes, so remove this bottleneck. Second bottleneck. Third bottleneck, markets are manipulated. They are not manipulated. I told you, just for reference, those who have forgotten, see, this is the only Reliance one day trading happens for 3792. So it's 3792 crore worth of rupees. It's a huge money out there. Okay, so don't worry, there's a huge money to manipulate this market. Even Reliance, even to manipulate Reliance share for one day, someone will need today, as of today, they will need 3792 crore rupees for manipulating Reliance share for one day. Maybe only one share for one day, you will need at least 3792 crore rupees. Okay, so no one is having so much time and money to manipulate it on daily basis, right? You need huge of money, so don't worry. And even if they are manipulating, we are learning technical analysis. Why we should worry? We are learning technical analysis. When it is going up, we will enter. When it is coming down, we will exit using technical analysis. Even if it is manipulated, why we have to worry? Agreed? We will follow the technical analysis. We will enter and exit at right time. Agreed? Okay. So having said that, so now to summarize all the things so far, what we have understood so far is: one, why stock markets are needed. Two, stock markets are needed to generate commerce, lots of commerce in the country. They need to have a resale value. That's why stock markets are needed. Second is they are needed to generate funding for the money from IPO and all. Third, it's not a moral ground or a moral battle happening there. You deserve to earn because you are better prepared, better studied, better hardworking, so you gain. Those who lose are may or may not have prepared. Maybe that was not their day. That is perfectly fine. A topper might come with you along with you for interview. He might not get the job. Maybe he worked hard. Yes, I agree. Maybe that was not his day. But that cannot be excused the round of the year, right? There must be something different. So you need not, you remove this, so you are into stock market, we are there, right? So we have two stock markets, BSC and NSC. Okay, now companies are classified into in terms of size and sector. So let's understand how many companies are there in stock market. Any idea? Roughly 1700. Okay, 5000 plus. Okay, 3000. Okay, let's see. Everyone knows how to run the screener here. So what I have done is see there are. Can you see the screen? See here, can you see here? 3911. Can you see 3911? So approximately 4000 companies are listed in stock market. There are approximately 4000 companies listed in stock market. Now your challenge is to find good companies to invest. Okay? So if you these are the listed companies, combined listed companies on Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. There must be some more companies which might have been listed but removed and all. I am not counting them. 4000 tradable listed companies combined on BSC and NSC. Okay, there must be some more. Let's say 4000, 4500 maximum. Now the challenge with you is to identify good companies, which we saw with our filter in our one day program. Out of 4000, we were able to find out 70 good companies in flash of a second. Yes, we did in 5 minutes, right? At the end of the day, on that day. Okay, so but anyway, to further classify, that was a quick fix. But to further classify and to find out good companies, we have to study something classification, right? So out of 4000 companies, all these 4000 companies are classified in terms of just don't mind the spelling, it is in terms of size and sector. Size and sector. Okay, size means how big is the company. Okay, and why it is important? Yeah, large cap, mid cap, small cap. Chirag is typing large cap, mid cap, small cap. Fantastic, Chirag. So we have 3 sizes. Okay, and why size matters? How many of you think size matters? Yes. Okay, so we will understand in stock market why size matters. Okay, why size matters and why we should be aware of these things. Why we should be aware of this thing for earning money in stock markets. Okay. Now small cap as per the capitalization. Then what is market capitalization? It is nothing but a simple multiplication. There are a number of shares issued by the company, number of outstanding shares that are available for trading. Whatever shares are available for trading, including the which is held by the owners, FII, DII, blah 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 blah. Sum total all number of shares which can be traded in the stock market multiplied by the current market price, which is the today's market price, whatever was the last traded price in the market. If you multiply that, you will get a value that is called market capitalization. If market capitalization is less than 5000 crore, then it is somewhere called small cap. It's small. If anything between 5,000 to 20,000 crore, it is mid cap, and anything greater than 20,000 crore, it is large cap. Now this keeps on changing. Okay, so what is the best measure is, if you arrange basis the market capitalization, first 1 to 100 in size will be large cap, mid cap will be 101 to 250, and 251 onwards will be small cap. So first 250, 300 stocks are in the large cap and mid cap. Now, okay, this is okay, knowledge is okay, but why am I learning this? How this knowledge will help me? So just understand. Can I have yes from all of you? If small cap, you understand market capitalization is less than 5,000 crore, it is okay. Mid cap 5,000 to 2,000, large cap is 20,000 and above is the large cap. Now the most important point is, how will this help me in earning money? How will this knowledge will help me in making proper decisions for earning money? That is most important. So for to explain that, you have to, I'll just take some examples. Okay, now if tell me, if you have to push a bike, a two wheeler, if you have to push a two wheeler, and if you have to push a four wheeler, let's say Maruti, maybe let's say you have some SUV. So if you are pushing a bike, a two wheeler by your hand, and you are pushing a four wheeler, SUV by yourself, which is easier to push, a bike or a SUV? Cycle. Okay, bike, yeah, two wheeler, yeah, correct. Now, if you have to push a SUV, and if you have to push a huge truck, right? If you have to push a huge truck, what is easier to push, a SUV or a truck? SUV, right? Now I'll reverse the question. Let's say on a there is a slope, right? And if the bike is coming rolling slowly, it is rolling down, and a SUV is slowly rolling down, which is easier to stop, two wheeler or SUV? No, no, if it is rolling down, it's moving, it's coming towards you, you have to stop it with your hand. Two wheeler, you can stop, or a SUV can stop. So Anil is saying it is easier to stop SUV than two wheeler. No, with your hands, you are standing in front of the vehicle like a He-Man or a Superman, and you are stopping with your hands. Bike or SUV? Bike or SUV? What you can stop with your hands? With your own power, right? Not with the hand brake. Okay, don't say I'll put a hand brake. No, this is not a trick question. You are standing in front of the vehicle, right? And if a truck is coming rolling, and a car is coming to rolling, then if versus SUV versus a truck, what is easier to stop? If you stand in front of it and then stop, SUV, right? Now what are these examples here? What is this? What this has to do with all stock market and small cap, mid cap? Please explain me what it has to do with all this. Why I told this example is, what happens is, small caps are like bike. Okay, small caps are like bike because they are 5,000 crores only. Okay, it's easier, it will go up very fast. Okay, it's easy for the small cap price to go up very fast. Same way, the mid cap, like bike, it is easy to push, right? You invest some money, it will go fast up. Mid cap, to push, to take the share from bottom to top, to rise the shares value, it will take lots of energy, more energy than the small cap. And large cap are like elephant, right? Elephant, you have to push really hard for the price to go up, right? Once the price goes up, small cap, it is very easy to stop the growth of that stock, and it can come down fast. So small cap can go up fast, come down fast. Okay, Mid cap stocks which are having a capitalization of 5,000 to 2,000, it will go relatively slower up and relatively slower down. And large caps are like elephant, difficult to start going up, but once they start going up, it is difficult for them to come down. It is very difficult to stop them and to bring them down. Now, why we are learning this? Let's say you are going and investing in small cap, mid cap, or large cap. Remembering this classification, you have to be more alert. If you are investing in small cap, then when the economy is good, small caps will run zoop, 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 zoop. So when there are no corona times, when there are the things are going good, when the economy is growing, there are no issues, no war with China, no troubles going on, you should focus on small caps. Good small caps, they'll go up, zoop, 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 they'll go up, you'll earn a lot of money. When it's a troubled times, right? When the troubled times, like right now we have corona and all, you have large caps, they'll go up slowly and they'll come down slowly. So when this difficult times are there, and if you foresee there will be some more difficult time for a longer time, focus on good companies within large cap, though they will go up fast, slow, but they will not come down. Your capital depreciation will not happen. Mid cap is in between the two. Okay, so you have to find good companies in mid cap. Again, it will go up relatively faster than large cap, come down relatively faster than large cap. So when you are investing in these companies, you have to remember, when you are investing, you have to find out whether the company is large cap, small cap, or mid cap. Based on that, based on the current situation, you have to take a decision. And if you are taking a decision, you have to be very alert in small cap, mid cap, large cap. You can be aram se, you can leave. How many of you are clear now why we are learning this small, mid, and large? Can I have yes from all of you if you have understood the utility of small, medium, and large? So if good times, you can focus more on small caps, but in tough times, focus more on large cap. Those who are long term investors, focus on mid and large cap companies. So if you want to see which companies you should focus, large cap, then just filter this out. I have sorted this based on the market capitalization, so you can just pick up first 100 if you are a long term investor, right? So if you don't want to take much risk, you can go and select the first 200 in the stock market. Select out of that. They will be going aram se, slowly upar, they'll be coming down peacefully, so you will not have jars. If you are an action risk taker, you go and find out the small caps and invest in that. Everyone okay? Okay, so second portion of our webinar today, we are having this thing. Okay, tell me one thing. Which sector do you think is earning, which industry or which sector is earning a lot of money as of now? Pharma, healthcare, right? Absolutely right. So it's not rocket science, right? So, and IT and pharma, they are earning a lot of money. So we'll have pharma and insurance, right? In case, let's say, if everything subsides and everything goes okay, do you think then the IT companies will earn? Maybe then infrastructure companies will earn, telecom will earn, right? Power will. If the government says, okay, I'm going to invest so and so money in the infrastructure building, then the infrastructure building, right? So we have a sectoral analysis, right? So small cap, mid cap, large cap, we have understood. Okay. So we have different businesses. Okay. So what is happening is the companies overall, all 4,000 companies, in a way or other, has been classified or segregated into these industries. Okay, so primarily these are the sectors of Indian economy and sectors for any economy in the world. We have financial services. Financial services is very important because it's like a blood in our body. Blood has to go everywhere, right? It has to supply from our heart, it has to take all over the body, it has to supply oxygen to each and every part of the body. If the blood supply is stopped, that part is goes. Same way financial services, money Money is the most important part. Every industry needs like a circulation. If it goes into the industry, come out of the industry, right? For you, for any commerce, you need money. For selling, buying, you need money. Money is like blood. It has to reach each and every corner of your economy. So that is like a blood in a human body, blood in the economy. So healthy banking system is very much required for healthy growth of economy. That's why financial services are given that top focus weightage in our stock market. So Mukesh is asking, no chemical will be there, maybe fertilizers, pesticides will come under chemical, right? And cement, and also chemical, maybe industry may not be having that much presence in that. So financial services is having it's like blood. Then we have oil and gas, because petrol, again petrol, each vehicle, many industries, they need petrol and gas for working, for the functioning, for the energy it is required. So it is given the weightage. So according to why the weightage is given, I'm just explaining why this weightage is given, because the importance of those sectors in Indian economy. Tomorrow, if Tata Sky increases their subscription by 10 rupees, will it become a national news? Tomorrow, if Tata Sky or Airtel Direct to Home, or maybe someone will increase their subscription by 10 rupees per month, will it become a national news? No. But tomorrow, if petrol or diesel becomes 10 rupees costlier, do you think it will become a national news? If tomorrow, petrol becomes, right, because it's a bloodline, costly petrol, costly goods, costly transportation, everything becomes costly, right? It's a cascading effect. So oil and gas is very important. Same way, consumer goods, automobile, telecom, pharma, construction, cement products, everything is given weightage. So this is how the classification has happened. So what happens is, this is the classification you have to understand. We'll take sector by sector some other day. I'm just introducing you to the sectors, that there are so many sectors. So why we are learning this? Why we are trying to understand this? Okay, because we understood one is the company size. Okay, size. Within those size, so now you have to see the sector and the size. So when you have to make an investment decision, when you have to search for a company, what you have to do is, first think which sector is going to have a much better performance in coming 2 to 3 years. Whether it will be infra, whether it will be consumer goods, whether it will be automobile or telecom or pharma. Identify that. Then go and identify the company's basis the size, okay, which is the size and how it will. So based on what is your requirement, what is going to happen for 3 years, then based on size, then you identify good companies and then invest. So this is a 3-step process. First, vision. Second, vision about the pharma, vision about the sector, what is going to go up, that sector. Within that sector, then you have different size of companies. Within those size of companies, you have different good performers. You go and select that good performance, so you know how they will behave with the market, and accordingly you have to manage. So that's why it is important to understand the size and the classification, sectoral classification. We are already at 1 hour, so I think we will be going overboard. I'll cover further bifurcation later in some other webinar. So I'll pause here. Anyone having any questions so far? Any questions? Type in your name and I'll come to you. So we are at the end of the webinar today. So it's almost 1 hour. So we'll take more further deep dive sometime later. If you have a question, type your name. Prasanna is saying puffed up pipe. That is possible, right? Correct. Okay, Yayansh, you can unmute. What is your question?